All right, let's dive in and talk about the new digital SAT. If you've heard people say it's more like a video game than a test, well, they're not wrong. We're going to break it all down for you today. Think of this as your official player's guide. We'll cover the rules, the levels, and the strategies you absolutely need to know. So let's just start with that big question right off the bat. Is the new SAT basically a video game? It sounds a little weird, I know. But honestly, it's the perfect way to understand how this new test is built to think and, more importantly, how it reacts to you. Okay, so before we can play, we have to understand the game's core mechanic. The digital SAT is what's called an adaptive test. And all that really means is that the test literally changes as you take it. It's reacting to your answers in real time to figure out your skill level way, way faster than any paper test ever could. And that brings us right to our first section, the new SAT game. Seriously, try to think of it less like a stuffy old-school test and more like a strategic challenge. So let's break down the rules of engagement, shall we? Here's the main idea. Forget those marathon-style tests you're used to. The new SAT is structured like a game with two and only two distinct levels. Its whole mission? To pinpoint your abilities as efficiently as it possibly can. And this slide, this is basically the game board. Both of the big sections, reading and writing and math, are built exactly like this. Everybody, and I mean everybody, starts at the exact same place, Module 1. But where you go next, well, that depends entirely on how you play that first level. So how does the game begin? Let's take a closer look at that first stage, which we can call Level 1, the diagnostic mission. In Level 1, everyone starts on a completely level playing field. This first module is the great equalizer. It gives every single student the same balanced mix of questions, some easy, some in the middle, and some that are pretty tough. Its only job is to get a quick initial read on your abilities. Now, what happens after that initial diagnosis? That's where everything changes. This is the most critical moment in the entire game, the fork in the road. Your performance in Level 1 literally decides which path you're going to take. Just imagine it. You've answered the last question in the first module, you hit next, and in that split second, the system is analyzing everything you just did. It's making a decision. So what version of the test is about to pop up on your screen? And here's that decision, laid out plain and simple. If you did really well in Module 1, the test levels up with you. It gives you a more difficult second module, the one with the questions that can earn you a top-tier score. If your performance was more in the low to intermediate range, that's okay. The test adjusts and gives you a slightly less difficult second module that's designed to accurately figure out your score in that range. This critical decision sends you into the second half of the game, which is Level 2, your personalized route. See, this is the whole promise of an adaptive test right here in action. By tailoring the second module, the SAT makes sure it's giving you questions that are actually useful for figuring out what you know. The goal is to keep you in that sweet spot, where the questions are challenging, for sure, but not so ridiculously hard that you're just making frustrating guesses. Okay, so we get the levels, we get the adaptive path, but hey, every game has rules and a time limit, right? So let's get into the nitty-gritty, the rules and the timer. So here's the breakdown. For the reading and writing section, you've got 64 minutes to get through 54 questions. And remember, that's split across two modules. For math, it's 70 minutes for 44 questions, also split into two. You'll notice you get a little bit more time per question in the math section, which is definitely helpful. Add it all up, and the whole test clocks in at just 2 hours and 14 minutes. The big takeaway here? This is significantly shorter than the old paper-based SAT, which is a huge advantage for just keeping your focus and your energy up. Now, let's talk about moving around in the test. Within a single module, you have total freedom. You can jump ahead, you can go backward, you can review your answers, change your mind, you can even skip questions and come back later. As long as the clock for that module is still ticking, you're in control. But, and this is probably the single most important rule to burn into your brain, once that module's time is up, the door closes. It's locked, permanently. You cannot go back to Module 1 to change an answer while you're in Module 2. Each module is its own self-contained world. So you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? Why design a test that acts like a video game? Well, that brings us to our final section, why this format wins and what this whole adaptive advantage really means for you.
According to the College Board, this adaptive model has 4 key advantages. It's more efficient because it can measure your skills with fewer questions. It's more precise because it zeroes in on your actual ability. As we saw, it's shorter, which is a huge plus for reducing test fatigue. And, they argue, it's fairer because you aren't stuck on questions that are either way too easy or just impossibly hard for you.
This really gets to the heart of how this whole thing is scored. Your final score isn't just a simple tally of right versus wrong. The system is smart. It knows that answering a hard question correctly is a lot more impressive than answering an easy one. So in this game, it's not just about how many questions you get right, it's about which ones. So there you have it, a shorter, smarter test that personalizes its difficulty to figure you out as efficiently as possible. It really is a game with clear rules and a very clear objective. So now that you know how it's played, are you ready?